This is the strange tale of Ben Simmons, how a basketball star player in the NBA seemed to have completely lost his confidence and suddenly seemed scared to play, how the fans, coach and his team turned on him, which led to one of the most absurd circus shows in professional sports.
He let the demons take his psyche over.
Ben Simmons did not tell the 76ers he was going to Philadelphia.
This is apparently a real photograph, and it's like he can't be bothered to take his cell phone and leave it somewhere.
As a young player, Ben was already an upcoming star. At high school and college, Ben excited all the pundits who predicted he was going to be a superstar. Ben was an ideal NBA specimen. At 6'10", he was big, even by NBA standards. Bigger players are typically slower, clumsier, can't jump high. But not Ben. He was fast, athletic, and explosive. It's rare to find such a big player who can move like Ben did. He was also praised for his passing and dribbling skills and was overall drawing comparisons to LeBron James, widely considered the best player in the league and an all-time great. Ben's game, though, had a flaw that could become his Achilles heel. He couldn't shoot well. Most of the scoring he did was close to the basket, typically outpowering his defenders with his size and speed, which limited Ben's offense. But the NBA has some of the best coaches and trainers in the world, and practice makes perfect after all, right? And so, the Sixers put their faith in Ben.
With the first pick, the Philadelphia 76ers select Ben Simmons.
But there was still doubt lingering. It's not uncommon for young players who are considered stars in high school and college to miserably fail at the NBA level, which is naturally a much more talented league. In fact, it's the most talented basketball league in the world. As Ben entered the NBA, he did not disappoint. Though he missed the first season due to injury, he's proven himself to be quite a star. Although there was still this nagging concern about his inability to shoot, which didn't seem to be improving much as time went on. And yet, he has become an all-star, a title granted to the top 24 NBA players.
Simmons with a nice move.
But in the NBA, playoff basketball is what matters. At the end of each season, the playoff begins, where the top teams of the season compete to eliminate each other in the best-of-7 series, until one remains victorious. 2019 playoffs. That year, the Sixers had a good team. Ben wasn't even the best player on. That title belonged to Joel Embiid. Joel developed into a superstar, and with Ben by his side, they were expected to get far. But they were stopped by the Toronto Raptors with his now famous game-winning shot by Kawhi Leonard. Sixers fans were broken. Joel took it so hard he cried, and it became a meme. But there was always next season, and the Sixers came back in the 2020-2021 season with a vengeance, taking first place by storm. In the first round, they were pitted against the Wizards. In that series, Ben struggled from the free throw line. In fact, he struggled so much that the Wizards players were fouling him on purpose just to get him to the free throw line so he could miss.
And look at the slow walk for Ben Simmons, because until he starts knocking these down consistently, you're going to see this.
Ah yes, the free throw line. For those who don't know basketball, when you're fouled, you get 2 shots. Each of them is worth 1 point. This is an oversimplification of the rules, but it's all you need to know. Ben has been about 60% free throw shooter for his career. This is key because when you have such a bad free throw shooter, the other team can exploit it by fouling him on purpose and sending him to the line every chance they get.
This game was played excruciatingly at the foul line as the Wizards made their run by going full hack-a-shack on Ben Simmons, who is a 55% free throw shooter. Simmons was sent to the line 24 times in the fourth, which is an NBA record.
Man.
He made just 12 of those shots, and it was even rougher than it sounds. He missed 10 of his first 16.
The NBA even changed the rules more than once to address it, penalizing teams who foul on purpose on the last 2 minutes of each quarter. Though this is the current rule, some say it's still not enough.
This is a joke of a rule. In the last 2 minutes, you can't do it, but the first 46, it's okay. I hope it's a 19-hour game that never ends, because this is a joke of a rule.
The 76ers defeated the Wizards 4-1.
And Ben Simmons telling the critics, just check my stat line.
But the Wizards' star player, Bradley Beal, was all too keen to say they exposed Ben's weakness, his free throw shooting. That the next team can use a hack a Ben. And that next team was the Atlanta Hawks. Atlanta wasn't really supposed to get far in the playoff. In fact, according to all predictions, they were supposed to lose in the first round. But they pulled an upset by winning the New York Knicks, led by their star player, 6'2" Trae Young.
Gibson around him, shoots and hits. Trae Young taking the Knicks' heart yet again.
The Hawks were giving them a hard time.
Trying to force overtime. Here is Curry, puts it up. And Atlanta wins it.
Ben was doing kinda okay until Game 5. That's when it was all going wrong for Ben. Not just that he'd missed an open dunk.
Simmons doing what he does best, but he missed the dunk. Simmons gets to the basket, unable to score it.
But the Hawks were going full force with the hack-a-Ben tactic and Ben was missing free throws. Ben missed so many free throws that even the fans were trying to hype him on.
What do you say?
Right there. Just work on it.
That's the way I do it at the Y.
That's right. See?
With Ben's struggles, Atlanta was able to capitalize on the momentum shift and won. Game 5 was such a disaster, Ben was torched in the media.
You can't be an all-NBA player. You can't be an all-star player and be a liability at the end of the game, Skip. I've never seen that before. He's an all-NBA player.
Yeah.
And you can't play him late in ball games because he can't hit free throws?
Doc kept defending the talents of his young star.
Ben, we're going to keep him on the floor. Unless you guys want us to bench him the whole game. If anybody wants us to do that, just let me know. And then I'll know you don't know basketball.
Game 7 was the deciding game and a chance for Ben to redeem himself. But at that point, Ben seemed out of it. He appeared to have shut down and barely took any shots. And then, this happened. The moment that would be talked about on and on in NBA circles. Ben was under the basket. He could have easily scored, but he chose to pass the ball.
Gives it up. Oh, he was right there. And a foul as Thibault goes to the basket. Boy, Simmons, uncontested, had a layup, but he leaves it for Thibault.
It's not like 6'2" Trae Young could have done anything against the 6'11" Simmons. That moment manifested Ben's lack of confidence to everyone. Fans completely lost it.
Ben Simmons, you bum piece of shit.
Thoughts on the Sixers' future?
Fuck them.
Okay.
Ben Simmons for a bag of shit right now. Bye, Ben.
Any thoughts on the Sixers?
Fuck Ben Simmons.
There you go.
In the press conference, Embiid said that's the moment everything turned. And despite having defended him all this time, Coach Rivers seemed to have lost his faith in Ben.
Doc, you think Ben Simmons can still be a point guard for a championship team like the one you guys want to become?
Yeah, David, I don't know that question or the answer to that right now. So I don't know the answer to that.
The fans were mad. His jerseys were put on fire.
Ben Simmons, if you were not 6'10", you'd be working at McDonald's, all right? You know what, actually, I think you'd be working at Dairy Queen. You're not good enough for McDonald's. Imagine passing up a layup against a guy almost a foot shorter than you.
Ben Simmons, you little pussy! Fuck Ben Simmons! Fuck Ben Simmons!
Everybody for Philadelphia 76ers. Here they come, Philadelphia on the run. Philadelphia, here they come, team of the year.
And Ben was roasted on every media circle.
We know basketball. You can't have a guy on the court who's afraid to shoot the basketball.
Play in particular.
This dude, this dude is scared to death. I mean, it's unbelievable.
With the fans, the coach, and the star player coming out against him, Ben decided he no longer wants to play for the Sixers and demanded a trade. To have a trade, teams need to agree on an exchange of players or assets. It's relatively rare that a player refuses to play and demands a trade. It most recently happened with a player called James Harden, aka The Beard. He demanded a trade from his team, the Houston Rockets. Unlike Ben, he played, but he went on to nightclubs, got fat, and stopped giving a damn, and everybody knew it.
And James Harden showed up to this game looking like this. Now, maybe it's the camera adding 10 pounds, maybe it's the angle, I don't know. Maybe this isn't the right shirt for him, but he looks big, there is no doubt.
Eventually, Houston traded him. But with Ben, it was a problem. The Sixers couldn't find a trade. Ben's value was at an all-time low. The trade offers that came in were absurd.
He's not James Harden. Harden could go ahead and lollygag and play poorly, and everybody knew, he's just doing that in Houston because he wants out. We know his track record. That's not the case with Ben Simmons. There are guys I've talked to in front offices who are like, they wonder, will the mental block that he suffered last year in the playoffs, is that gone? Will that just vanish once he leaves Philly?
While the Sixers kept looking for a trade, the next season was already about to start. But Ben said there was no way he's gonna play for the Sixers. So the Sixers said, okay, if you're not coming to play for us, we'll fine you $360,000 for every game you missed. And they did. When the fines came in, this is where things got kind of funny, because Ben was starting to worry about all that money that he was losing, that he just wandered into the Sixers training facilities one day unannounced.
Ben Simmons did not tell the 76ers he was going to Philadelphia. Homeboy just showed up at the arena.
Ben was trying to pull a Costanza.
Is that Costanza over there? Am I crazy? Or didn't you quit?
Are you kidding? I didn't quit.
He was also practicing with his phone in his pocket, seemed disengaged, and eventually Coach Rivers kicked him out of practice.
This is apparently a real photograph from the Sixers practice, and it's like he can't be bothered to take his cell phone and leave it somewhere.
To avoid getting fines but to not play or practice, Ben needed to have an injury, so he claimed he hurt his back. But the Sixers medical staff found nothing wrong with him. So Ben then claimed he had mental health issues. But when he refused to see the Sixers medical staff, the Sixers continued fining Ben. This went on and on during the start of the 2021-2022 season. Eventually, a trade. Ben was finally traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Ironically, Sixers got James Harden in return. And Joel tweeted this, a picture of a man who came to his enemy's funeral just to make sure he was dead.
How long did you have that tweet ready?
Honestly, I don't even know what the tweet was about. I just tweeted, random person. Not I thought.
Phillies fans were waiting for March 10th, the scheduled game between Ben's new team, Brooklyn Nets, and the Sixers. It was a chance to boo Ben and yell a barrage of obscenities at him. But Ben wasn't playing. The Nets said he had back pains.
I want to know what the hell you were doing that you hurt your back.
You ain't played since last June. What the hell happened? I want to know what happened. You haven't played a minute, a second since last June. That is 10 months. You ain't touched a damn basketball in an official capacity. Did you slip in the tub? Did you slip in the tub? Would you get your groove on and tweak your hip? I mean, did you hit a pothole on the turnpike? What the hell is going on?
Sixers fans just figured he was a chicken. There was even a moment where he accidentally touched the ball despite not playing, and the fans booed him like no tomorrow.
Niang got in the way. Philadelphia had the best record in the Eastern Conference a season ago. And Ben Simmons picked up the loose ball at the other end, and that's the only time he's touched it, and the chorus of boos begin. Again.
I cannot wait until he's in uniform to play here.
For the entire season and that playoff, Ben still wouldn't play. He did come dressed up in this colorful outfit and watched his team lose from the sidelines, which became a meme. Ben was overall fined $20 million by the Sixers, which he continues to challenge to this day. Lots and lots of questions linger about Ben. When will he actually start playing for his new team, and whether he can still function in those big moments? The Ben saga will continue into the next season, where he might finally face those rabid Sixers fans. For those who watched my channel in the past know that this is different than the type of content I usually made, which was gaming related. That doesn't mean I'll stop uploading my niche gaming content. That will always be a part of my channel, but I hope you'll enjoy the new content as well, which is about stories and drama in various strange hobbies and sports. So, thanks for watching, and until next time.